Hi, this is Marilyn, and this is a bonus episode that I wanted to share with everybody. First of all, thank you for the feedback and the love that you've been giving me for the last few podcasts. When I wanted to create season two, as always, I wanted it to be really easy and not work, so I didn't have to get into my head of drama of, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. It's really been easy. It's been quite joyful actually producing it and putting the podcast together. This is not something I'm going to do in the foreseeable future, but doing it for the interviews has been really good fun. It's really brought up my love of arranging and creating and shifting and creative direction. So it has really satisfied my soul in that aspect. But for today, this bonus session, I want to talk about the drama that we bring to ourselves when we are moving forward in our life. So I'm going to entitle this episode, It's Not About the Money, or It's Never About the Money. And the reason being is because I've been having quite a few consults, sales calls, as we call them, to bring on coaching clients. And even when I'm working with my coaching clients, I am seeing a pattern where people are putting money issues in front of a dynamic. And is not to say that people don't have situations and troubles with money. That is valid. But most of the people that come into my orbit, and also myself, especially black women. I mean, it happens with women of all races, but I work with mostly black women. It's this relationship to money and what we think is money, but it's actually our relationship to the dynamic. So, for example, we're in a situation where sorry, that's my cat. We're in a situation where we say we want to move forward, and we're so passionate about moving forward in our business, our creativity, in our art, and we really want to make a difference. But we start taking 2 steps forward, and then we stop in that stress response. But at first, I was just thinking it was just fear that was stopping us. I actually think it's attachment. It's attachment to the story. And hear me out. I used to smoke from the ages of, 14 to about, what age? Maybe 27, right? And I remember reading, what got me, off cigarettes was reading that book, How to Stop Smoking. I'm trying to say Alan Carr, but I don't think I think Alan Carr's that presenter. But it was a book, How to Stop Smoking, and you read the book. And by the end of the book, you'd stop smoking. I was also doing an NLP course at the time. And I'm sure it might have been in a discussion around that book, and it was some personal development book that mentioned that book. And the person said about cigarettes being your friends. And I didn't realise that cigarettes were being my extended friends. The relationship I had with cigarettes was so personal and complex. That was the only way I would stop smoking, and I haven't smoked since. Cigarettes, that is. I don't really smoke. I don't smoke, actually. When I say I don't really smoke, I might have tried a cigarette a couple of times just to see, and it's just not felt. It's just, Sorry, not shaming cigarette smokers or weed smokers or anything, but after a time, it just wasn't me. Tried it, so um, for me, when I heard that concept, it kind of was like it was a revelation, and so I feel like what I'm dealing with when I'm working with my clients, and especially around showing up, especially around putting their work and their sales on social media, there is this attachment to being stuck. There is an attachment to being fearful or the attachment to the anticipation of being somewhere as opposed to the newness of being on the fence. And yes, fear does underpin most things, but there's also an attachment to that story, because if I don't make that extra step, then I can stay safe and I can stay with this part of me that is wanting to become, and there's no accountability because I wasn't taught to have accountability. I was taught that I had no agency and all my decisions were made for me. And therefore, if all my decisions are made for me, I've gotten so used to sitting in this place and being in this place where I can just continue to have that loop pattern of being in struggle emotionally and trying to reach a mountain that I could never climb. And this is all in our mind. This is all in our mind. But it's an attachment because it's a charge. It's a familiarity. And when we drop into the desire for familiarity, it feels warm, it feels tangible to us on some level, so we're feeling it. We're feeling, it's struggle, but it's our old friend. It's angst, but it's our old friend. It's anxiety. We are feeling this familiarity, our old friend, family member, and therefore to choose something new, it's not going to satisfy us on a primal level of what we think is a primal level. Newness, having to show up and to post our information or to talk in front of a group or to make the next move or to, go out on a date or to start a new course. It requires us to give up that safety and that warmth and that familiarity because we've not been taught about our agency. So we're actually working with a brain that is just trying to maintain that reality of attachment to a dynamic of dependency. And so rather than trying to say, okay, it's my trauma, it's my fear, looking at it as if it is your attachment. And the only way through this is to constantly have that dialogue with yourself where you can observe that part and you can say, okay, it's that part of me, but I'm going to move forward. Okay, it's that part of me. I'm going to post my business. And even if nobody responds, I don't care. And I'll tell you something. The people who don't really care and they stop their thoughts, not even stop their thoughts, but they slow it down, their thoughts, they're the ones that get the response. Because what's happening is, when you are posting with your attachment to your story, all you're going to get within your Instagram, LinkedIn, or wherever you're posting, WhatsApp, you're going to get the same story coming back to you. So if nobody responds and nobody, likes your post, so-called, and that's not even a great indicator of people buying your service, but if nobody likes it, then it's saying, here we go, see, it doesn't work, so I'm going to run back to my attachment. When really it's about, I'm attached to this story, let me let go of the story and let me keep doing what I keep doing. Let me keep posting, let me keep talking, let me keep sending out my newsletter, and sod that bloody attachment. Okay? It's not my trauma. My trauma may create the actual conditions of fear, but actually it's not my trauma. This is my attachment. This is my attachment because it's familiar. Because I don't know how to enjoy the new me yet. And when you do that, I guarantee that your results will be so much more dynamic. And then when you overcome this hurdle of seeing this attachment to this story, you will be able to use the same model and program that you've run to undo your money programs, to undo your relationship programs, to undo your friendship programs, to undo the victim, narcissist, rescuer, imposter syndrome. You will be able to use that program. But in the meantime, let's work one step at a time and let's look at this attachment. And I will be covering more in the coming weeks. We finish our International Women's Month podcast next week. We'll probably have first week of April. I've got one extra person, so you might get 2 episodes again next week. An International Women's Day bonus. But what I will say is, let me know how you think. That's it. Let me know how you think. Let me know what you think about this episode and your attachment to the story. If you want me to support you and you want to work through this and are committed, or even just committed to making the first step, then jump on a sales call with me. Book a sales call with me to see if you can fit in my highly creative, capable coaching one-to-one program. It's not a group program, it's a one-to-one program, although I will have some group calls with clients, what I tend to do. And this will really help you look at where you're falling short and how we can recondition the mind. We can bring you back to agency, and really work through that. So all the information is in the show notes. And I hope you have a wonderful evening and week. And let me know how you resonate with this episode.